What is going on, you guys? Welcome on into the Caribe Swim, Learn to Swim podcast. Episode, 4 or 5. But we're super excited to be with you today and running through a question that we just got asked and generally just talking about Learn to Swim for adults. This is a channel dedicated to helping support adults in the foundation of learning how to swim. And so we're super excited just to be here and talk through that process with you as often as we can be, deliver as much value for your time as possible. With that being said, you guys ready to get started? Let's do it. All right. One of the things that I was hoping we could do today is just start with some gratitude. We've had a tremendous response so far by our subscriber base, and I just want to run through some of the comments that we've had already. Keep in mind the channel we're probably less than 3 weeks in to posting content on the channel, and just the response so far is just really gratifying. Mary 21, this was great. Can you upload more videos? Heck yeah. We're doing a video a day right now at a minimum. Sometimes we're doing 2. We really are enjoying producing the long form content right now. Not that there's anything wrong with us producing the shorts, because we have fun doing those too. I just think from a value perspective, there's just a lot more value for you guys in our long form. So we are we're putting out 1 video a day of those. It looks so easy when I do it in freestyle, but when I do it in freestyle, it looks impossible. That is an awesome point. And as you guys can see, I did reply to Hassan saying you're 100% correct. Doing this in freestyle is hard. So what Hassan is talking about is learning how to breathe. And one of the videos that we did pointing out how to breathe is titled Learn to Breathe. And in that, we break down how important it is for adults to begin the Learn to Breathe sequence with a forward breath instead of a side breath, which is what most programs try to teach you how to do, which is literally like swimming freestyle. Let's learn how to breathe to the side, which is a super advanced technique. And so what we do at Caribe is teach you how to breathe forward, which is it's a lot less difficult to learn from a coordination perspective, and you're going to have a much higher likelihood of success. The difficulty is that it kind of pairs with, I wouldn't say breaststroke, but we do something similar to breaststroke, which is just moving our arms to the side instead of freestyle up in the beginning. It would be really tricky to do this in freestyle. And so that's the background of what Hassan is referencing there, and I totally agree. So we are going to put out a video here in the next couple of days with learning how to side breathe, and then probably a follow-up to the comment and just being a little bit more clear that it doesn't relate to freestyle. It's one of the tricky aspects of content on the internet is it makes a lot of assumptions that adults are capable of swimming freestyle immediately.
Yeah. From a coordination aspect, especially when you're not confident or certain about what you're doing and you're still getting a feel for how your body interacts in the water, it's kind of crazy to assume that someone would be able to put all of those things together. It takes a lot of coordination and skill.
Absolutely. So be on the lookout for that. That's going to be coming. We're really excited. This is one of my favorite comments of all time. Finally, a channel that talks about the problems faced by new swimmers. Need more videos like this. Thank you. Pintu, thank you so much for that. First off, I totally agree. There's a massive gap in the market for what's needed, which is the introduction of learning how to swim for adults. There's a lot of great content on how to swim faster and once you're kind of in the water and familiar with the basics. But let's face it, if the content that was already there was working, we wouldn't have 52% of the adult population in the United States not capable of swimming and 64% adults having a fear of deep water, and 70% of the 52% have tried swimming lessons before and it's failed, that data would look different. So I really appreciate that comment. Your mailbox is the cutest thing ever. It's a Nemo mailbox. If you guys haven't seen it, you can take a look at that in the Learn to Swim pre-registration open for Learn to Swim 101 video. That's a short. It's also one of the commercials that we have pushing our pre-registration, our new Learn to Swim 101 course, which check out the link in the description below if you're interested in learning how to swim for the first time. This is a fantastic course to teach adults how to learn how to swim for the first time. Or if you've tried before and failed, this is the course for you. We're accepting pre-registrations right now, and we're giving you 25% off the price of the course if you use the special code in the description. So definitely take a look at that. Great video. Music is too loud. We did adjust the volume. So I really appreciate the feedback on that. She tells me all the time that she thinks it's a little too loud. It's one of those tricky things that we're trying to find balance in, because I like the entertainment value of having music. I think it helps the flow of the videos, but I couldn't agree more. So we did turn that down. Thanks, buddy. Definitely improving on my swimming with daily practice. Heck yeah. Keep it up. That is awesome. Egg beater tutorial. Yeah, we can do that. That's in reference to our treading water video. And to give some context to that comment, one of the aspects of treading water that we think is just a little too complicated up front is doing egg beater.
And honestly, that idea was sparked because I tried it and I didn't realize how complex and complicated that it actually makes it harder to tread water, for at least for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, we need to create something that's more introductory for people, because it's complex movement.
Yeah. There's a lot of content on treading water on the internet here on the YouTube streets. I think we saw one yesterday that was like trap the water.
Yeah,
right?
We're
not going to name any names here,
but I've been, watching a lot of the other content recently, and it's articulated in a very complex way for people who would already understand how to do it. It's not geared towards beginners so that they can comprehend and then be able to use that information to benefit them.
Yeah, which is what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Totally agree. But nonetheless, we can certainly put together an egg beater tutorial video. Take a look at that probably in the next week or so. That's my guess. We're developing a content calendar right now. Like I said, we do put out a video a day, and we're focusing right now primarily on the content that impacts the most number of people. This content's very, very needed, as we've talked about already. And, egg beater is one of those things that I think is covered fairly well already, but nonetheless, like I said, probably in about a week. Sandra writes, found you guys and excited to employ my first technique I saw today. Heck yeah. Leaving to swim after basically trying to swim and not going as well. You described my experience with teachers exactly in the video I watched on beginning swimming was eye-opening. Thank you so much. Totally agree. You guys have to check out the video we dropped today if you haven't already. It's about swim instructors and whether or not they're actually helpful to your journey, your learn to swim journey or not. And it's really an important, maybe that's one of the directions we can go inside of this conversation, is just go a little bit more into detail on why we made the video and what it stands for and represents. Because it's, we're not here to kind of poo-poo on swim instructors in the industry or other programs. Don't believe in that at all.
None of our intention is ever to degrade or diminish. But there is something that needs to change.
Oh, yeah.
because we're not addressing it correctly. We know that from the way, the statistics.
The data, yeah.
Yeah.
And so the video that we put together today goes into a couple of different parts, but foundationally, we're making the thesis of it is that a swim instructor does more harm than good in your learn to swim process. And I want to be really, really specific here. This is for introductory learning how to swim. And this is a polarizing topic because we've taught a lot of adults how to swim. And we kind of hold that part of the news, at least in the beginning we did, until they were already at the pool deck, kind of ready to go. We're like, hey, by the way, we're not getting in the water with you. And the reaction is always the same. And then the follow-up response a day or two later is the same. So the initial reaction is, what are you talking about? Did you know that I don't know how to swim? And you're here to teach me how to swim and you're not getting in the water? And then the follow-up to that is always a day or two or an hour or two into learning where they go, oh, I totally get it. And let's talk about some of the reasons for that. Foundationally, if a swim instructor is in the water with you and you're coming from a place where you've had trauma, or not even, we don't have to go as far as trauma, you bring some level of fear into the water with you, you end up having some non-zero, greater than 0% of your comfort built into the fact that they're in the water with you. This is really tricky because they're not always going to be in the water with you. And so the counter argument to that is, well, yeah, but as I get better, I'll rely on them less and less and less. True. But we never know what is going to happen when you get to your pool or the body of water that you need to swim in for the first time without the swim instructor and how you're going to react. That's not a risk I want to take.
Well, and often when a swim instructor is in the water with their student, they're not usually addressing the ways in which you can remain mentally calm. It's more about technique. It's more about kick harder, or it's usually very physical and not psychological.
Mm-hmm.
And those steps get missed. Where when you don't have a swim instructor in the water and you're only proceeding to the next step when you're 100% comfortable and confident, and it's like that movie What About Bob? Baby steps. I don't know if anybody gets that reference, but
I'm not good with movies.
Oh my gosh, it's baby steps. And it genuinely truly works, and it's a really beautiful process. But yeah, if you're reliant on your swim instructor to walk that path for you, often it fails.
Yeah. So that's kind of the first reason as to why having a swim instructor in the water with you, it's the reliance on some non-zero amount of your comfort is built into the fact that they're there. Beyond that, and Meredith, you did a great job touching on this inside of the video today. It's awkward. And what do we mean by that? Like, what's awkward about it? And it's, you did a really good job before we shot the video talking about how when you took dance lessons, that there's going to be someone there that is the lead.
Yeah. And even though that, dancing, right? You're going to be close to somebody. It's still awkward when you don't really know someone and you are that close to them. And then you're in your bathing suit and in a very vulnerable environment. Obviously, you're a beginner adult learning how to swim. You're vulnerable. And so you already have a lot of anxiety that it certainly doesn't help.
Yeah. And that's not to say that a swim instructor is going to take advantage of that.
No.
It's just that it's uncomfortable and it's awkward. And for your internal process, the way to get an adult to learn how to swim is to get you as comfortable as possible, as quickly as possible, so you can start to interact with the properties of water that help hold you up. It's hard to get really comfortable when someone you don't know has their hands on you, and that's just a reality. That's not there's no intent assigned to that on the swim instructor's part for malice or anything like that. It's just it just doesn't feel right.
Right. And then you can skip steps, right? Then we're applying force to try to create a physical outcome rather than being able to achieve it individually.
Yeah.
And then that's often when, we're just not comfortable.
Yeah. So I thought you did a great job inside the video today, nailing that point. So we've got some non-zero percentages wrapped up in the swim instructor being in the water with you. It's kind of awkward that they're there. Swim instructors don't have the ability to read your emotion at the level that they need to. Now, can you see when someone's fearful? Yeah, there are responses in the body that someone who's paying attention can pick up on. However, the key to you learning how to swim is 100% comfort. So as you're getting into that space, think of fear on a spectrum. Where am I here? Fear on a spectrum, okay? So it's easy to read on the beginning portion of that spectrum when your fear level is closer to the 100%, right? But as you start to get closer to the 0, that's much, much harder, and the nuance inside of that is much more difficult for a professional to pick up on, especially, I'll just stop there, for professionals to pick up on. I don't want to bash any professionals or say that swim instructors aren't professional, because a lot of them are.
Yes, no, I think a lot of them are doing the best that they know how to do. And
well, I want to make sure I can finish this point. So, and I don't mean to interrupt you. So as you get closer to the 0, it's harder to interpret, pick up on for a professional to understand. Only you can know that. They can't know that. And the claim that we're making here, and this is the foundation of learning how to swim, it's the most important part, is that you maintain 100% comfort the entire time. Only you can know when that is. Swim instructor can't. And so when the swim instructor is dictating the pace of the course, it doesn't work. And there's some amount of tension in the body. That tension creates density. Density makes it harder to swim. And beyond the fact that when that happens, we also can't get a full breath the way that we need to. And we can't therefore utilize our lung capacity and full lungs to hold us up. So my apologies for kind of cutting in there. I just didn't want to lose my space. Do you remember where you were? We'll move on. I do that. I'm from New York. I'm just kind of that.
No, I was interrupting you.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was able to get that out. So thank you. So that's another reason. Beyond that, I think that ultimately it's just not necessary.
That's the biggest part.
It's just not necessary. And in the video, we also touch on the fact that a lot of swim instructors also teach kids. Like, that's just going to be a given. It's where the market is. And that's,
well, they're professionals and they need to make a living, and that's that's just part of, like you said, it's the market that they're in.
Yeah. And so it's strange, because a lot of the time it's difficult for a professional to switch back and forth language. So like, if you're in the water as an adult and they're like, all right, time to get on your tummy, it doesn't work well. Also, a lot of the techniques aren't specialized for adults. I think that's the right way I want to say that. When how adults learn is completely different than how kids learn. And most professionals don't know that. They just think, well, learning how to swim is learning how to swim. So, it's not.
Yeah, no. not at all. And when I was much younger and teaching swim lessons, I feel so bad for my first adult client. I wish I had never taken her money. But
Someday we'll give it back.
I hope so. I hope if, she ever reaches out or finds us again, we can, right the wrong.
Do you remember her name?
I don't.
Oh, that'd be great.
It was in Macon, Georgia.
If you were in Macon, Georgia, and you feel like you were the first person that Meredith taught, leave a comment in the comment section below.
I crushed kids, like absolutely. I was a kid whisperer, still am. Like, love working with kids in the water, but I approached it the same exact way, and we couldn't get to a point where she could even kick enough to like. We were in a shallow pool. I didn't know how to get her through some of those mental, limitations from fear and anxiety. And looking back, I didn't know that's what it was.
Mhm.
And I was that instructor.
How old were you?
Just relax. I don't know, 16, 17.
16, yeah. I mean, that's the other thing, too. Man, we should have hit on that today. Most of the time, your instructor's like 12. Well, I don't mean like actually 12, but man, I'm from New York. They're younger than you, and there's just a weird association with that, especially something that's as intimate as learning how to swim. Not to mention the fact that a lot of the times kids are running around, you're not comfortable, you can't learn at your own pace. It doesn't feel good to be in a swimsuit in front of strangers. The list goes on and on and on and on and on as to the problems that are associated with this kind of model.
I don't think it's that they're younger than you, but they're
less mature,
very young in most cases, very young.
Yeah. And here's why. Let's unpack that just a tiny bit.
So we're gonna get into it.
I don't want to go into it.
Okay.
You want to go into it? I don't. We're already at 21 minutes. I like to keep these under 30. So this is a full topic.
Hear what we're talking about, just let us know and we'll go into it.
Put a comment in the comment section below. But basically, companies don't pay well for swim instructors. Start there. I founded a swim school in Atlanta called the Swim Revolution. Prior to me leaving at the end of this past year, I salaried all of our swim instructors at $45,000. Let me just stress the fact that we're the only company in the world doing that.
Way above.
Above.
And granted, 45 is probably very difficult to live on, but as a young professional, it's a great way to get started.
We're talking like the average pay is like 12 to 15.
Yes.
And I'm not going to get into it, but it's hard to get professionals at that rate that really know what they're doing.
Yeah. And we tried our hardest, obviously, to employ the best professionals we could. We paid higher so that we could get, people with a lot more experience. But
who actually showed up to work. We're not going to get into it.
We're not getting into it, Jeff.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
But that being said, like, from interviewing swim instructors who worked at other places or just looking on Indeed, I think that's a place to start, is looking at the job description. Usually no previous swimming experience needed.
Required.
I've met swim instructors who didn't know how to swim.
Could you imagine if you showed up to learn how to dance and your dance teacher had no prior experience dancing?
It'd be pretty difficult to get away with, I would assume.
What a great example. I just thought of that.
That's a great example.
That's the industry.
But
in other news,
paying an absolute premium to the big box swim school and learning that you're better off getting in the pool with your own child. And then I couldn't even imagine.
And that instructor is then teaching you, and it doesn't work. So let's put a comma there.
Yes.
Because
we'll know more.
Turn to it at some other point. We're also going to start a kids channel at some other point. We've got a lot to do, and I'll be honest with you, we've got a lot to say. And there's a market that's willing to hear it. Anyways, let's pull this in. We're at the 25-minute mark, so here is how we're going to wrap this one up today. Everyone can and should learn how to swim. The model right now is broken. And we've got a solution for it. And that's right now, that's Caribe Swim 101. We're going to be adding additional courses in the future, but this is what we have now. It's fantastic with a money back guarantee. And if you're interested in finding out more information, leave a comment in the comment section below or go to the description of the video and do a couple of things. One, sign up for our free newsletter. You're going to want it. That way you're informed every time we drop new content. We're doing blogs, videos, shorts, everything. You're going to want to know. We're going to do private meetups inside of that too, exclusive content only for our newsletter holders. There's a lot of value in doing that. It's completely free. OnlySwimcom, because that's the name of the newsletter. So our company is Caribe Swim.
No. Oh my God, I could never direct weather. Nope.
Caribe Swim. And the newsletter is OnlySwim. So OnlySwimcom is where you sign up for our newsletter. It's also in the description below. And then number 2, sign up for the pre-registration of the course. You're going to want to do this. The course is incredible, and you get 25% off. Don't pay more for something that you can pay less on. All right. Swimming lessons are already too expensive. The course, right, is $347, I think, and 25% off. It brings it down lower than $347. So take advantage of that now. The course goes live May 15th. At that point, the discount's over. So get it while you can. We have limited number of seats as well. That's because we want to make sure we're always constantly delivering on value and making sure that we're meeting all of our enrollees where they are in their process, and that takes a lot of one-on-one interaction and specialization. So with that being said, thank you guys so much. I know we're having a ton of fun in this process. I can barely sleep at night because I'm just excited to get back up. And
at like 3 a.m. you guys just to put out content.
Yeah, like
and
2:30.
Yeah.
I'm just up and going, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. Let's go. So if you guys are enjoying this, keep fueling it. Leave a comment in the comment section below. We love you. Thank you so much. If there's anything that we can do to help make your learn to swim journey better, easier, faster, stronger, any of the things, let us know.
Oh, I've got that song stuck in my head now.
Until I see you again, my friends. Take care. That's not the right button. Bye-bye.